for becoming the ulama. Malaysia is not like that, but in some countries it's like that. But I think it used to be like you will also have people who are very good in Islamic studies, that they will also understand, a large number of them will also have basics about the mathematics, and mathematics is the backbone, and physics, some physics, backbone of ilm falak. Because without that, otherwise it is really just charapan. So I say there are two parts. One is the science, one is the observation. Observation anybody can do. Like I say, farmers also can tell you about the weather, observation, but they cannot understand what it is about. So if you don't understand the science behind it, then it is difficult to actually find it interesting, because mind is curious. So you are doing this, but you don't understand why is this happening. So if there is a bit more substantial input into the training of falak, which is really the science side of it. And in fact, when I wrote my book, 1984, and after we had the conference in 88, we had one seminar, Dato actually officiated, and I still have very fond memory of him in those early days. First political leader that actually supported our project. So when I wrote, a lot of people came to me and said that your book is too hard to understand. I think I gave a copy to Dr. Mufti just now, and you can see I started as a physicist. I set out the mathematics and the equations, and the idea was that I am going to move on to ozone, and I can leave it to others to take it from there. But they said to me, oh, this is too difficult. We get so upset about it. This is people that came to conference. And then they said to me, I think if you want this to progress, you make another book. Take out the front parts, technical one. There is physics, of course, rest of it. And actually we did. We did then produce a book. And that is the book that was then also published by Dewan, published by others in different places in Arabic. So it is a simplified version of this book. But the idea was that this one will become like a textbook. But I found at that time that even that is like having difficulty for people to actually read the book. So if they don't read at all, they say we get put off. Then I said, well, we need them to understand, otherwise they won't support ILDF. So I said, no, we will produce a simpler version, and then that's the one that we made in several languages. In fact, afterwards, some said make another lower level of simplification. And that also, I think we were lucky. Dewan Basa said, we will publish that also in Malay, but we will publish it in full color. They were so helpful to us. And it reprinted, I think it was reprinted again. So we trying to simplify it for that time, because we are needing their understanding so that they can support us to have the resolution adopted, to implement the resolution. But we don't have to go that direction. We should go backwards and actually use this book as a training book. And in fact, I suggested to one actually yesterday, maybe you should do a training program, international training program, where you use this book as a reference. So you have 20, 30 people who are good at this job and better. Because I see one medical doctor in England, he actually produced the ILDS and predictions and all that using this book, which people found very handy, very useful. And there is another person in the US who is also doing the same. He's not a physics person, he probably doesn't understand why this is all about. To some extent, I'm sure. But at least they are doing this. So this thing can be done, but it's not the same. It's not the same. So you have a jantung specialist at IJN. Well, it is different. So I think if you are looking for a jantung specialist for ilm falak, even for very basics, I think this is what the intention, to produce this book, so I can leave and people can really get on, they know where to go for it, and it has everything. And yesterday I suggested to him, because I wasn't familiar that you have this training program, you go for an international training program, and you bring people from physics background, from mathematics background, from science background, in addition to smart ulamas, they are good, their memory is good, they can remember, they can understand, they can change. Many of the ulamas I see have become IT specialists, so surely they have this tremendous, capacity. And I think that when they understand the background, now there is a lot of this Charapan. Of course, you buy a telescope, you have this, and then you have seen this moon and that moon. But that story is finished, I think. But it doesn't go deep, I think, if that's what you... But in order to do that, it's a very good question you have asked, a very fundamental issue. In 50 years, do we have 50 Ilyas or not? No, we don't have. But we should have had 50 Ilyas by now. Maybe 100 Ilyas by now. So that side hasn't progressed well. Because we are, of course, I am really solving a problem, implementing the problem, but to create actually capable people, then you need to bring people from geography, people from survey department, because they have the scientific, technical background, and then they can actually take it up. So I think that would be my thinking here, inshallah. And I say for Ilmu Falak, you must only think international, because it's a good value for money. You bring 5 people, you bring 10 people, it costs the same. You bring 20 people, it costs. You bring from within Malaysia, you bring from other countries, it costs nearly the same. So it is very good value for money in terms of investment of time and whatever, that you really go for a bit wider thing, and I will be happy to have design the program or something. But this will be really very timely thing. Yeah. Thank you.
Baik, majlis meradamkan setinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih di atas ucapan mengenai soal jawab sebentar tadi. Jemput penceramah untuk kembali ke tempat duduk utama yang telah disediakan di pentas.